Welcome back everyone to episode 24 of Let's Play Advanced Tactics Gold. And our first order of business is to secure Fischach, and probably we gotta reestablish better lines over here. I'm just noticing off camera that they have a 14 armor car, which is at almost perfect readiness, and combat value of 184. I have units in plains, not even in fields, but in plains. Well, that's probably not a good combination. And there's a lot of other opportunities for things. We'll just work our way south to north, as usual. So same thing I normally do. I'm going to move this unit forward, and then have him bombard the unit behind him. So that way we get a little bit closer. And if we get a little bit lucky here, he might even have some bombardment action points left over. Because this guy might break early. Go, break. No. That's fine. We still decimated the force. It's just going to be a walk in the park for this guy to attack. We still took 2 casualties. Well, I would say that this episode is off to a terrible start. I mean, I shouldn't complain about killing, like 8 forces for the loss of 2 people, but it was really unnecessary. They were at readiness of 4. I mean, there was nothing left of them, basically, and we still took some careless casualties there. Now this unit. I want him probably to bombard this guy. Unfortunately, he's going to have to move at the cost of 40 to get in there. Why 40? I'm not exactly sure. This does not have foreign territory. It should cost only 30 because it should be 20 to move along the road, which horses move at 20 along the road. And then it should only be 10 extra because of the zone of control exertion. So that's a bit mysterious to me. We could just use our bombardment on this guy instead. That's not the ideal. And in order to get an attack across the stream, which we don't really care about doing, we would have to... Yeah, I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea at all. So let's see. Well, we know we got to cut these guys off again. Let's start with some of the stuff which is more obvious. I'm going to just attack out here. If we can eliminate these guys... Nope, they retreated. Darn. Getting a little bit unlucky here. I'll leave these guys in the suburbs because they've already pushed the supply line out. That's good. It's a good start. And I'm sure we'll be able to cut it off here. Another thing I see is it looks like we can attack here and try to take over the tank factory just by throwing our tanks at them. Oh, jeez. Well, pretty successful. We lost a lot of units, but we definitely killed a lot more. So that is going to leave that unit defending. And now we've cut off... Now it doesn't really matter. At this point, we've cut off the rest of these units at the factory. So we're secure. And I think we'll just leave these 2 units to defend where they're at. They have the correct AT and horse ratio. I don't see any enemy armor. So I don't think we have to worry too much about anything, really. The only thing we want to do is defend against this pretty strong group, this pretty strong division here. We can think of this as 2 divisions because it's so heavily enforced. It's like a... What do they call that when they over-reinforce a division? I can't remember, but it's a super division. So we'll have to be a little careful around that. And that does mean I would really like to not have to bombard this guy. I would rather bombard this guy because he's on our side. And to come back, yeah, I think we have to do that. We're going to have to take the small, well, not insignificant, not small action point penalty to get our bombard off on this guy instead because he's just the bigger threat. And that was very effective. If we can, it would be even nice to attack him. Do we have the means to attack him? Yeah, this is what I was worried about. Because these guys got their AT gun in late. Although, what we could do, actually, is move this ranger down, transfer the AT gun and the horse to him. This other ranger, so he should still be able to attack. He can. This ranger can move down here and actually attack this unit So now we can get a double assault. I think I'm going to take this because pushing them back at this point is probably important. And then we can prop up a defense here. So hopefully this works out. Oh, it looks like it is. Good, very good. So we pushed them back across the stream. If we want, we could go and try to hold that. Is it advisable to do so? Maybe. Actually, I'm going to do that because we have all 50 of our rangers and we have an AT gun. That's pretty good. So the only thing we have to do is be careful about defending this hex. But we have plenty of other guys marching around who can defend. So, excuse me. Let's... what do we want to do here? We will have to defend this area. We can't just leave a gap in our lines. This machine gun is certainly going to defend here, because we do need to protect our artillery. How about this guy? So he can get here, which is what I was hoping to see. Except we need somebody here as well. Well, we do have enough units in our main headquarters to do something. What it might be interesting to do is actually move... We could just create a new division and truck and like land capacity move the Rangers over there. I think we'll do that here. So although it's would definitely be to our benefit to put a submachine gun guard in the city, I think we'll leave it here for the time being. Actually, we'll probably create a new division, which is a submachine gun guard over here and a new ranger squad. Do we have enough? Yeah, plenty of submachine guns, plenty of machine guns. Okay, good. So how do we want to do this? Since our tanks are already defending in the city, let's create a new, it'll be lower readiness submachine gun guard here. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay, there she is. Lower readiness, but let's set her as a submachine gun guard. But still very, I mean, 54 combat strength is not bad because she's entrenched at 100 already and defending inside of the city. So she'll get a bonus there. These guys are going to have a bit of a penalty because they're fighting in the open. Well, at least the submachine guns, but the machine guns won't. And then, like we said, we'll have to reinforce. I guess this unit will move here, which means the new unit will be here at a readiness of 55 or 75. But that's just fine. So 3, 4, 5. Transfer. Another way you could do this, if I had been smart enough to create the 50 Rangers in their own division last turn and they were at a readiness of 100, so any kind of strategic movement will lower their readiness. I think it actually lowers it down to 50, if I'm not mistaken. So just creating a new unit and transferring, for some reason, takes less readiness away than the strategic movement does, which is a little weird. I might not be correct on that, so don't hold me to that. It's just my guess. But then you could, if you had a new Ranger Special Forces division here, what we could have done is transferred 4 horses in, or 5 horses, because 1 horse can carry 10 weight, right? Which typically I use because each artillery is 10 weight. But each infantry is actually 1 weight, so you could carry 10 Rangers per horse. So with 5 horses, I could have moved the unit 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I would have been able to get here. And then at the end of the turn, I could have just land capacity transferred the horses back from the Rangers to the main headquarters. So you can kind of cycle your horses like that. It's an interesting way. The one thing that's going to keep us from moving too much in this unit, which I want to move up here, they can already, but is this anti-tank guns, which are at 77 AP. Now, like I said, I was looking up here, and it seems like it'll be a good idea for us to move away from this force. They're going to be able to attack even this force, so what we're going to have to do is just sink in. And that maybe will also cause the French and the Germans to go at it once again. So what we're going to do is just sink back, and sink back. Now, I don't know if we need to continue defending the swamp down here. Right now, we're not. Definitely, we don't need to defend the swamp against... Well, we don't need to defend the swamp against armor, because they can't move in. There's no roads here. Not for them. Uh-oh, we've got a thing going on. So, let's see. I don't know if I can pause this video, but this is important. I'll have to get back to that. What I'm going to do is just move the machine guns. Still are fighting at good value in the swamps, and they have higher combat value, probably because of the 10 machine guns. So I'm going to move the rangers over here to help reinforce. So now we have a very good 2 defense or 3 defense in the forest. Uh-oh, sneeze. I'm well known for my violent sneezes. Goodness. Okay, well, I think that's all we need to do for Fischach then. We've reinforced, we've captured the factory. We can't convert it into our factory this turn, that'll happen next turn, but Fischach's already given us political points. We'll have more tanks coming from this area next turn, which is good because we are starting to take some combat losses. Alright, and this front looks like it's holding. We cut these guys off. These 2 hex, I mean, basically we don't need to hold any hex but here. Oh, which reminds me, maybe it's a good time to... No, we don't really have enough units to do another ranger group, so up here we go. Now, we have some artillery we're going to get to be used. Obviously, this is the first one we want to do. That's standalone artillery. Okay. It was pretty effective, actually. I'm surprised, because the 4 by itself is usually not as good. And one day, like I said, one day we'll probably convert our artillery groups to 5 and 5 instead of 4 and 4. That way it would match attack stacks better. Alright, so we have this unit, which, yeah, I think this is a prime candidate for assault. We'll take our 2 best and attack that. The readiness is already pretty low, you can see by the green dots, green lines to the right. And we killed a whole bunch on top of that. Like, basically, a third or a quarter of their units destroyed. So that is lowering their combat strength down to, I mean, about 25. 30, I guess closer to 30. And that's going to be pretty easy for us to assault. With 370s, even though we're going to take the 25% penalty over the stream, if we just considered it 350s, it would still be 150 to 30. That's 5 to 1 odds. And they lost all their entrenchment, so that means that the 5 to 1 is really going to be an effective 5 to 1. Okay, so we want to do bombardment probably of this one, but we will wait to actually attack this unit before we bombard here with our other 2 artillery, because these guys will likely retreat back here. And then when they do, we can actually bombard the survivors, which is going to be even more effective. So let's do the attack. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to save the units here just in case I want to do an attack somewhere else. Actually, there's no reason to do that. Let's actually attack with him as well, just to make... Oh, that puts us over the attack stack, though. Okay, so I won't do it because it'll put us over the attack stack. And we should be good enough. Yeah, okay, 6 casualties. I'm okay with that. 6 to 40, that's good. And we'll definitely move in with these 2. We'll keep this guy here, that's fine. And now this unit we can bombard with our 2 remaining artillery. So pretty effective. We got quite a few kills. Well, it says only 10. Maybe less than I thought then. Still pretty effective. I mean, it lowered their readiness a lot, lowered their entrenchment. All good things. Alright, so now that we have done all the bombardments, the only one left is to probably bombard here. We don't really need to bombard this hex. There's not that much infantry. And there is armor, which is really... Okay, actually, we need to be careful. Do we want to attack this hex? I think we do. In which case, actually, we will bombard this one. Let's start by just bombarding it once. And if we don't think it's low enough in readiness, we'll bombard it again. Because I think we will attack with our tanks and some other unit. Okay, readiness is down to 8, entrenchment down to 10. Very good. Combat value of about 30, 35. We'll be attacking with a 143 and a 72, I guess. We'll probably do something like this. The 143 here and the 72 here. Get a 5% concentric bonus from the attack from 2 sides instead of 1. And that's 200 to 35 or 200 to 40. That's 5 to 1. Low entrenchment. We have light tanks going against armored cars. I think all that is okay. So we'll do the attack and we'll save this artillery for the other group, so that we can spread the love around. Everyone gets a bit of artillery. Okay, good. So we lost 4 units total, but we killed 3 of their armored cars and a lot of their units surrendered. I've been looking at the difference between Rangers and Riflemen, especially on the Advanced Tactics Gold forum. And I was reading through the manual to try to figure out more about it. And so when your units are below a readiness of 25, that's when they start surrendering instead of retreating. Just a note for those people who are playing. Something I just discovered. Even though we captured here, I'm not going to move in there. Although, yeah, we can't do a follow-up attack anyway. And then last but not least, I'm going to bombard with my artillery in the headquarters. See what we can get done. Not much. Well, mainly we're lowering the readiness. Okay, so let's see. I think that's all okay, so this tank group is going to move up here. And this group is okay. We do want to create a new unit, which is going to be the new artillery. And we'll get some horses up to that guy just right away, just before I forget. Okay, good. There's our new artillery group. And really, at this point, we don't need any more artillery in the central headquarters. They have 6. It's probably plenty. So we'll switch over the gun factory to my southern Supreme headquarters. Now, we can also probably move some more anti-tank guns into here. Maybe 2 into one of these guys. I think it would be wise. Let's move 2 into this guy using... Well, actually, we can create a road here, and then we can actually use rail capacity to transfer. So let's use the 76 because it has a higher combat value, which hopefully means that they'll hold longer while my AT guns are in the rear. So let's get 2 horses and 2 AT guns there. We'll have to use trucks for anything else because I want this road to just go pure vertical. And if we want later, we'll do a road like this, which will connect diagonally. That's fine, but that's for later in the game when, again, my raws aren't that high right now. I've been monitoring them. We're stuck around the 2400 spot. You can see that we're just barely producing more than we are spending. And that 30 that we're gaining, we lose because it costs 20 raws per road. So if we build even 2 roads, we're -10, but if we only build 1 road, we're +10. You can see it's basically just washing out. It's about even. All right, so we have 1 group here with good AT gun coverage, and that's pretty far for the guys to go. It's not too bad. Let's actually move the engineers back too because we don't want them engaged. And probably we need some anti-tank guns here. Who has all the anti-tank guns? Is this still the Northern? No, everyone only has... I'll transfer 1 amount of anti-tank guns here. And I'll transfer another set from the red. But basically we're out of anti-tank guns. It's probably time... It's probably time for us to start producing more of them. Especially because I just noticed how we're doing so well on artillery. Let's get artillery, at least 1 more group down to the Supreme headquarters, because there's only 2 artillery down here. And then after that, we'll start reproducing anti-tank guns. Okay, so now we need land capacity to do some horse transfers. And we got the horses there. So we have 2 new ones, 2 new ones, and then 1 old one. And they're in the forest, which means these guys would fight at a reduced combat efficiency. So we're okay. That's good. So that's all of the stuff we wanted to do all the way over here. This guy's fine. He didn't even... Maybe he took a machine gun casualty, but looking good otherwise. Yeah, I think we're good. Oh, so I want to for sure move this unit up here. That way he's a little bit closer to the action, and he still hasn't gotten any further away from these units. So it's just to everyone's benefit that I move that guy forward so he's closer to the east, and north so that he's closer to these guys. Good. And now we have this big mess over here, which I've just noticed off camera. We really have the opportunity to break through here and here and we can actually close off this huge, huge pocket. To facilitate that, I'm going to do some kind of crazy stuff. I'm going to send this unit here, so York is only defended by my engineers and artillery. We're basically hoping that there's no breakthrough. I'm moving this infantry south. Now I have infantry and rangers. I'm going to send the rangers forward because these guys have AT guns, so they're not going to be able to move very easily through the swamp. So we have these rangers though that have 100. I'm going to move them here. I'm going to shift these guys over. That seems a bit crazy. The reason I'm doing that is because even if they break out here, they're only going to be able to move here. They won't be able to break out to any of these other hexes. So let me see. This guy says, oh yeah, he can move backwards. Well, we're going to leave him there. The thought process here is it takes an additional 10 to move over a strain. An additional 10. You're moving into enemy territory, that's 10. Zone of control is another 10. So it's 30 to get here, plus the 35 initial just to move into swamp. Because I think it's 35 to move into a swamp. So it should be 65 for them to move across here into here. After that, they're only going to have 35 movement points left, which is just not enough for them to move anywhere because any of these hexes would be, this one would be crossing another stream, plus zone of control, plus anything's going to be enemy territory and zone of control, so it's plus 20, which means that they would have to be moving into a hex that would only cost 15 to enter, and that doesn't exist for infantry. Okay, so that's that. These guys still have 100 action points. These guys have 60 of theirs remaining. What I think I'll do is a double attack on this guy, just so we don't have to attack him with anybody else. It's going to be... Okay, how do I want to do this? I'll probably attack this guy first. That's a pretty easy kill. I'm not worried about that. Wow, so it literally killed him. Just, they're not even retreating. And I think that that is going to put this unit... Yes, exactly. Into here, which is perfect. Now we can attack... We'll attack with both of these guys, which is going to be over the attack stack, but I'm okay with that. Is that... Yeah, they're both 54, so that's fine. We can't avoid it. But it's not too much over the attack stack. So we'll do the attack and we'll see what happens. Okay, we lost 4 units. It wasn't like amazing, but it wasn't bad either. And they retreated here as we expected. So now we have a choice between about which units to move forward. I don't think it really matters, but I'm going to move this unit forward because the higher combat value one I want further back, just to better protect my rear lines. Although yes, it is kind of protected by the tanks as well. Now that means that this tank can move forward and do the attack, which is perfect. Actually, if I was smart, this guy could have moved and attacked this unit, but this is probably better. And we need to still break this guy, which means that this unit and this unit will attack him. Slightly over the attack stack, but that's fine. As soon as we lose 2 people, we're no longer even over the attack stack, so. Okay, good, we broke through. Move in. We could do another attack here, because we still have 2 units available. But this would be 140 against a unit that's really still heavily entrenched. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to choose not to do that. But I will move this guy forward. There's no reason for him to stay where he is. It'll be better for him to be in position to help attack next turn. So we'll move him, I think here. Yeah, I think that's fine. And this guy still has movement points? No. Okay, so now we ideally would take this hex, which I think will happen the moment we attack these guys. And we can attack with these guys as well. And these guys are attack stack of 50, so let's do it. Let's move these guys in and we'll attack with both. Oh wow, we can actually attack with these units, which is a 51. Let's not do that. We want that unit to hold, so we'll attack with these 2, which is perfect 100, and I think it'll just decimate them. Yeah, there it is. Total annihilation. Okay, good. So now we're holding the only field open plainish type hex we're holding with the tank. And we have pretty strong units in the forest. I'm very satisfied with this pocket. It's very nice. We got a bit lucky. Now, is there a reason why we should try to close here? Not really. We don't really need to. Why am I saying that? Because if they move here, we're still reinforcing from here. Excuse me. The worst case scenario is that they move all the way over here. Now that would be bad. So maybe, I mean, maybe I should just move in and protect the plains. I don't like to do that, but okay, because it would cost, how much is it for you guys just to move into fields? 30, right? Yeah, 30. So it would cost 30 to move here. So 30 to move here, plus 20, because zone of control in enemy territory. They could move too, yeah. Okay, well, in that case, I guess we have to defend it, so let's move here and then move here like this. Okay, good. Which does leave this little pipeline, but as long as we have any kind of supply in this area, we'll still be able to connect with this guy. All right, good. So that's what we'll do in the north, and I think that's everything we want to do on this turn, in fact, which is pretty successful. So Nîmes is not too crazily defended. We stand a good chance of getting through there. Unfortunately, our artillery is really far away. So it's going to take a while if we want to try to bombard and then take it. But the good news is we finally cut off this huge pocket and we can get our oil back. Okay, so that's all we want to do. Let's go ahead and end the turn and see what kind of madness the AI has in store for us. All right, here we go. Some movement, but they didn't attack. More movement. Huh. Well, that's one of the first turns where there's been quiet along the border. All right, good. So we've taken this, and it looks like they're actually pulling back. And one thing it would really behoove us to make a run at Velberg. It's likely defended, but just on the odd chance that they don't have a strong enough defense for my armored division, we have to give it a try. So we'll probably do something like leave this unit in here, which is now full strength, push the tank here, and then push this tank into Velberg. I mean, it might even be a surprise attack. It could end in disaster. But from a risk-reward standpoint, the chance of taking another city that's such a great reward for such a minor cost as 3 tanks and 4 machine guns. All right, so let's get this tank factory producing something for us now. Especially because now we're going to be getting an extra 4 tanks per turn, which is great. We'll send those right into here. Probably at this point we can send tanks, so they're currently going into red, that's right, I did create. Oh, I forgot to look at staff percentages. Yeah, we're a little bit low on this one, 95. 95 is not bad, but it's just a bit low. 114 in the north, and 110 in the south, which is still receiving extra staff reinforcements every turn. So I guess I'll just look at that off camera, and I'll try to decide what we need to do. They've pretty much conceded defeat in this area. We just have to be a little bit careful about the artillery. We'll probably have to attack this unit even. Do we have any tanks nearby? Well, we can get enough rangers actually over to defend. They can't attack into a swamp anyway. So the swamp hexes are, I forget this. The swamp hexes are actually completely immune to attack from the armored cars because they cannot move into the swamp. So they can't attack there. Well, very good. I would say that things are moving very well for us. We're about to take possibly 2 extra cities on the next turn. Nîmes is looking pretty weak, looking very weak, and we have infantry in range to strike it. Yeah, definitely. Wow. This is incredible. So things are really starting to move along. We'll have possibly a 3rd and 4th tank factory soon. And the thing I really like is, I thought they had a 5th? This is the one I was remembering. I knew that they had an aircraft factory over here somewhere. That would be really nice to get. And at that point, hopefully we'll have enough political points that we can actually start producing dive bombers. And dive bombers will be pretty useful against the armor that we will no doubt encounter when we fight the Russians. All right, well, I think that's it. I don't want to just meander around the map too much, but we have a solid defense by Coutances, a good tactic for taking Nîmes, and we cut off a huge pocket of enemy forces. We've really let the Germans and French duke it out quite a bit, and it looks like the Germans are actually about to cut off the French, which is, hey, I mean, we're not going to argue with it. And then finally, we've taken Fischach, and we're very close, basically on the doorstep of Velberg. Hopefully, some of those things will be ours next turn. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next.